Hey everybody, we're here. New episode, 5 for Talking, Leafs edition. Made the playoffs, first place. I got Caps here. He's the captain, and we're gonna jump into this. Um, Before I get into maybe we should get into this first, or would you rather just have some general talk?
It's your show.
Oh well, it's your show, okay? But okay, so they named Campbell the starter,
Good.
and I feel like you were going to be good with that anyways. Do you?
Yeah, it's just based on his play. Like he earned it.
Okay, that's all I was going to ask.
Sorry,
So, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
but
no,
yeah,
that's what I was going to ask you.
based on his play, he earns it. I mean, if Frederick Anderson picks up his play and turns into the Freddie Anderson that we seen a couple of years ago, then that's another option.
So before we divert to that, because that was my next thing. Actually, you know what? I'll just get to it. So, what did you think of Anderson in that game that he played?
Rusty, I'm not sure if you watched, but I did notice like a lot of shots. He was always looking back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's a sign of a goalie that's kind of unsure or not confident.
Yeah,
in my opinion, anyway. So
they replayed one moment like 4 times, and it was where someone took a shot at him, and then it went behind the net, and the play was like already like moving around the net, exiting the zone, and he was still looking around for the puck.
Mm-hmm.
And the play was already leaving the Leaf zone, and they were talking about it. They kept replaying it. I was like, yeah, I'm like, you could see that his like vision is a little bit off. But
if it was up to me, I would have played him last night.
Yeah, I would have too. I agree.
I mean, Campbell is a starter. That's it. It's fine. It's set. I would have played Anderson to sort of build his confidence a little more, just so that if something happens, he's ready to go. That's what I would have done if I were the coach, but I'm not. So
So I knew that was going to happen. I agree. I completely agree with what you said. That was my thought on it. But I knew that they were going to play Campbell. But I was talking to people at work, and I was like, wouldn't it make sense? Because I already knew that they were going to play Campbell. Why don't you play Campbell for the first period or period and a half, and then switch to Anderson for the rest of the game? Because you don't even need to win that game. That game is completely irrelevant. You keep Campbell moving, and you give Anderson some more time. Because I knew they were not going to start Anderson. But I guess, that's a world that I want to live in that we don't. But I think Go.
I want to touch base on something because you said something right there, and I'm kind of, confused by it. Okay, the last 2 games, they didn't need to win, right?
Yeah.
They didn't matter.
Nope.
Okay. The thing I don't understand is the game against Ottawa, you pretty much played the lineup that you're probably going to play in the first game of the playoff series, with the exception of maybe three players.
Yep.
Campbell, Hyman, and Bogosian.
Yep.
And you lost.
I mean, you've made a very big point of this for the entire season that the Leafs can't beat Ottawa.
Like, I don't get it. Like, everybody's like, it doesn't matter. It should matter because you're playing against the last place team. Granted, they were the hottest team in the last month and a half. I get that. But we gotta have to come to an understanding. The Ottawa Senators won't be ready for at least maybe a year or two, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs are ready now. Would you not think that the team that's ready now should be winning the game against a team that has not fully developed yet?
I mean, I agree with you. Yes is my answer. But as like a hockey fan, and I know you actually feel this way, it's still unpredictable. To lose this many times to Ottawa, I agree with you. But you could still lose to Ottawa. It's not like you can't. But that game was like, the whole time I was like baffled at the way they were playing. They weren't even playing bad. They just all seemed like aloof. And like I said, the game didn't matter in the sense that you don't need to win. And what I mean by that when I said that was, which I've told you, it was like playing your best player, Foligno. He doesn't need to be in the lineup. You didn't need to play any of those star players. It doesn't make any sense to me that you went out there and played that hard and you still lost to Ottawa. That's my thought on it. Yeah, I agree with you.
So you're going into the playoffs playing hard, and you lost to the last place team.
Yeah. That's like, where I am saying I fully in this singular situation. I 100% cannot disagree with you.
I wouldn't have played Marner, and I would not have played Matthews, and I would have let Tavares play. Why not?
That's what I said.
But like Matthews has been struggling with a wrist injury all year, right? But you played him the last game.
Agreed.
Why?
Like,
I don't understand.
It's so insane to me. Like, and I agree with you. To me, I would have benched Matthews, Marner, and Riley and Muzzin, and I would have put, because you have a shitload of defensemen. Throws two of those young defensemen in there, and let some of those young guys play on forward. You have Robertson and you have Brooks. Just let them play that one game or the last two games. Because for me, Tavares is the captain, and you don't take the captain out of the lineup. And you don't need to take Nylander out. Whether or not you have Nylander seems to be irrelevant, no matter how good he's doing.
He's not playing well. I'm sorry.
But even when he plays well, you don't notice him being there or not.
So yesterday's game, right? There was a play where Morgan Rielly pinched, and he got caught. Nylander was the last forward that should have gone back to support him. He didn't do that, and he just froze, and he let the play happen. I'm sorry. It's more Nylander's fault, not Foligno. This guy, like, seriously. But it's troubling to me. Like, you're very close to playoffs and you're not putting the effort in. Like, I don't get it. And I don't understand the whole Galchenyuk and Foligno thing. Like, what line are they playing on? Which one is it? Like, I see Foligno on the first line and the second line, back to the first line, to the second line. Which one is it? Should you not have a stable lineup, knowing what you have going into the playoffs and just play the lines? Like, what's the deal here?
So, hold on. I'm going to let you go off about lines because that was my next thing anyways. So, before we get to there, I just want to say my final thought on Anderson is he's not playing, regardless of how good he looks, unless Campbell goes wrong, knock on wood. So, I don't really care how good Anderson looks. So, specifically, in terms of lineup, like the actual, if you want to go through lines or anything, you feel free. But in terms of just the lineup, what changes do you think they should make?
Well, that's a hard question because, like, at this point, you should already know what you have. But when Hyman comes back, I honestly do think that Nash is probably going to play the first game.
So do I.
You know what I mean? I think Engvall's going to come out, which I think he's earned a spot because he's scored, like, I think he's had points in the last 5 games or something like that.
He takes up so much space in front of the net. I don't know why you would take him out, but
like, he should be more physical. That's my problem with him.
Yeah. But he's not that type of player.
Well, turn him into that. Develop him come on. Like, you have a coaching staff that does that kind of stuff. Like, he needs to get physical. The guy's like 6'5". You know what I mean? Like, you can't waste that frame.
Yeah, but size is like, I get what you're saying, but it's like, look at Liljegren. He's not gonna. No matter what you do with him, how big he gets, he's not gonna check anybody.
I'm sorry. I don't see the hype in Liljegren. He has not earned a roster spot on this team.
That's perfectly
and I don't think he will. I think Sandin has earned the roster spot. Okay, obviously Ben Hutton's going to come out and Sandin's going to go in. That's one change that you're probably going to see. The only reason why you didn't see in the last couple of games is because of the cap issue, right? So going into the playoffs, there's no cap issue. There's no salary cap. So obviously, first change, Ben Hutton comes out and Sandin goes in. And then when Bogosian is ready to go, hopefully he is ready to go at the end of next week, Dermott comes out, Bogosian goes in. That's my change. And hopefully you'll have a stable defense by then. And to be honest with you, the last couple of games, Leafs defense has been iffy a little bit. You know what I mean? But in terms of the forwards, I think Engvall's going to come out. And I think I should have probably wrote this down, but if I'm going to set up the lines, it should be Foligno, Marner, Matthews. And you should have Foligno on the first line because he's going to protect Matthews and Marner anytime an opposition player is going to get physical with them. Because he's the only one that's going to get lay that body back to them. You know what I mean? It's not going to be Hyman. Hyman's not going to stick up for those guys.
No, I've said that since day one, that he doesn't understand his role.
No, and Hyman and Galchenyuk, I guess he goes in the second line. Third line, for me, I'm sticking to it. It should be Nash, Mikheyev, and Hyman. And the last line is, the older players. Was it Thornton, Spezza, Simmons?
So you're saying you take out Kerfoot and you take out Engvall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you can go back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like that's going to happen, and they're going to make a lot of changes. And I honestly don't really have an argument against your thing. I just think that they're really high on Kerfoot still, and Kerfoot's not going to be the guy that comes out. Not my opinion. I feel like that's the way. If you see how much ice time he gets, it's because they like him.
Yeah, I know Campbell, but I think like if you want a shutdown line, I think you're going to get more out of Nash than you are going to get out of
Kerfoot. I think so too, and I agree with you. But we've proven over the course of this season of this show is that logic with the Leafs doesn't factor in. It's all about whatever Sheldon Keefe feels, and he's made the right decision 60% of the time. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I do agree with you. So
don't ask me how they're going to do. I don't know.
I guess you covered what we're looking to improve going into the playoffs. For me, the biggest thing is the power play. They need to score with that offensive power. They need to score goals.
Yeah, I mean, even the penalty kill has been kind of lacking, but I guess that has a lot to do with discipline. Don't get any penalties, and
Montreal is your chance to build your confidence. Facing Montreal, this is your chance to do it. So
I'm not gonna comment on any sort of results with Montreal. Yeah. I said before, I'm staying away. But if they encounter a hot Carey Price, oh my God! I mean, this is going to be a long one.
But so we kind of touched on that a bit, and then I was going to say the players that look really good right now are Engvall, Muzzin, and Tavares. But we already touched on that. Like we already know Matthews and Marner look good. Campbell looks good.
But Hutton looked pretty good too, man. I got to give him some credit.
You know what? Everyone looks. I'm not going to dog anybody right now. Everyone looks pretty good. So the last question I have for you, unless you have anything after this, is during the course of this entire season, who was the most important player on the team? And don't count the Marners or Matthews. Don't count the point leaders. Who's the guy that did the most for this team without getting really recognition?
Campbell.
Yeah.
But he's got the recognition.
Yeah. That's
what? I mean, there's a few players on this team that did their job, and quietly, if you're asking for anybody that did their job quietly, Brody.
Yeah, I would say it's between Brody and Bogosian for me.
Yeah, I mean, it sucked that Bogosian went down. Yeah. Hyman did a great job.
Yeah. Wayne Simmons was really.
Oh man, it sucked that he got injured, man, because he was playing so well before he got injured.
Same thing with Thornton. He was playing really well before the injury. Spezza, you know what? Shout out to Spezza. He's solid as a rock.
Yeah. I just and going into the playoffs, those are the guys that you're gonna have to look to get this team pumped up and ready to go. Because I feel like some of the younger players are gonna overestimate.
Yeah.
The Habs, which is you don't do that. You don't do that. It doesn't matter if they went through a coaching change or whatever the case may be. They are playing well. And I think they had a few players that were out that are going to be coming back for the playoffs. So it's just a matter of getting them ready. And it's Thornton, Simmons, and Spezza are going to be the guys to get these guys up and running. Okay, it's not going to be Tavares. You know what I mean? It's going to be those older guys.
It could be Lou Ferrigno too.
And I really hope someone slaps the shit out of Nylander and tell him to wake the hell up. No, seriously, because sometimes that guy's just for every one good play he does in the O zone, he does two shitty plays in the D zone. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes he just lacks the effort, man. Like
I feel like a lot of times
I'm a fan of Nylander. I really am a fan of Nylander. I have him in my pool. You know what I mean? But like sometimes that effort, man, like it just
yeah,
you know.
he what he does defensively, at least this season, really negates all the extra work that Austin Matthews has put in on the back end of the ice. And I wish he would just step it up a bit. But I don't have anything else. You don't have anything else, guys. Thank you for watching this Leafs edition, and enjoy the playoffs. We'll be back.